apart and was severely challenging to anybody with a regular job, leading to the frequent repetition of a remark of Oscar Wilde's about work being the curse of the drinking classes. But it was to be recommended in small doses for those with stamina to endure high levels of merriment and indoor adventures of a mental kind. You could set out in good and sedate order with plans for an early night, attending a lecture or a Yeats play, proceeding afterwards to a pub for some scholarly discourse that might suddenly erupt into a sing-song. Levels of conversation would rise in growing animation, and soon a mood of carefree abandonment would sweep the room, giving occasion for the barman's anxious cry over the din, "Have ye no homes to go to?" We would be shepherded out into the reality of the cold night air, soon to be piling into cars, careening through highways and byways, because somebody had a friend somewhere who had a few bottles of whiskey and who could withstand an all-night vigil. In those days, you never got up to see the sunrise, but often stayed up until the breaking of daylight brought the revels to a natural conclusion. A whole book might be devoted to these late-night escapades and the stories that were embroidered out of them. There was a classic tale in circulation about writers Brian O'Neill, alias Miles Lopely, whose brother married a sister of mine, Brendan Behan and Patrick Kavanagh, who could not drink together in Dublin because one or other of them was barred from any given pub. They had the bright idea to hail a taxi and instigate a pub crawl beyond the confines of the city. At each watering hole they noticed a sinister figure in a corner, drinking what appeared to be a mug of tea. The sight of this solitary man gradually became a source of paranoia in one or all of them. Finally, now some 20 miles outside the city in a snug little bar, they approached him with the question, "Excuse me, are you following us by any chance?" Innocently, he looked at them. "Sure, I'm your taxi driver."
And we'll have time for 3 quick questions, if anyone has questions, and then we can continue the conversation that has been advocated, the higher communication among ourselves as the evening continues. But does anyone have any particular questions of author, poetess, singer, performer?
Oh, trust you, Eric. But you'll answer it better than I will, actually.
I just have a practical question. I've never met a person who has such glorious recall of the artistry of poetry, able to deliver it not only in technical accuracy, but also conveying the feeling of the poetry you recite. Is this a gift you have always had, or is it something you have cultivated?
Again, I think it's from listening. I don't think I spoke until I was about 35. I did an awful lot of listening, especially with Bob. I heard so much about Yeats. I had to know. I had to be able to speak the poems of Yeats for survival, because I'd say to Bob when we were having an argument, "Bob, didn't Yeats say at the age of 80, I have felt the convictions of a lifetime melt in a moment?" And here you are, refusing to concede a simple point. And so, they do come in handy. And usually somebody else has said it a lot better than I could. But the interesting thing is that poetry, it's actually wonderful to have it in one's consciousness, because when the thoughts start to go in a different direction that you don't particularly want them to go in, it's handy to have a poem to refer to. Thanks, Eric.
As you can see, the answers are well worth posing questions for. So if you have any other... Yes?
Do you write any poetry yourself?
You see, it's like being a musician. you know, it's better to play a piece by Beethoven than maybe one you've So, I mean, no, I think my next life, I'm looking forward to that. Because I've earned my dues and I'll maybe be able to write a line or two.
Yes, I'm just wondering if you would please sing one more song in Gaelic.
Yes.
Yes.
Here, here.